right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back to the Porch Sports Podcast with your man Fonz.
Okay.
I just want to thank y'all for tuning in this week. Just like every week we talk about, y'all want to go ahead to the war room. Just go ahead in there, join up, follow us and everything like that, and thank you to the listeners and viewers and subscribers and all of that jazz. Okay. So like I said, we've been doing a lot of different shows lately. And one question that I've had someone actually asked me a while back was about the much maligned quarterback in Baker Mayfield. And the question that was asked was, is Baker Mayfield a bust? And I responded, I said, well, that's kind of up for debate. But we're going to try to investigate it here this evening. So, Marquand, I'm going to ask you the question. Is Baker Mayfield a bust?
I'm so conflicted with that question because it's not like he's a horrible quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he'll be playing in the NFL if he was a bust, a complete, just straight out bust. I don't think he fits in that category. I do feel like Baker Mayfield somehow always seems to be unfortunate. Meaning, well, he got drafted to the Browns, which is kind of like a graveyard team. Where, before 2019, 2020, between those few years where they had a couple good years, before then, that's a team that if you did get drafted to, you don't think you're going to make the Super Bowl.
Right.
Number one is because he was in one of the toughest divisions. You was like the baby of that division until a few years ago when you beat the Steelers in the playoffs and you made 11-5 and y'all had a pretty good year. Not to mention that the roster that y'all had complemented and pretty much made Baker Mayfield more of a game manager than a real quarterback that sits back. I don't think he's a bust. I wouldn't say he's a bust. In the NFL or any pro sports, you have your elite players and then you have your other average players. And I don't think he definitely doesn't fit in the elite category. But I feel like he's in between average quarterback. He's an average quarterback. If you look at his statistics, statistically, in his career, he came out in 2018. Out of that draft, you had Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, and Mason Rudolph. Well, statistically, he is number 2 on that list. Statistically. He has thrown for 15,242 yards, 98 60 touchdown interception ratio. His highest quarterback rating was a 65.5%, and that was in the year of 2020. Before I looked into that list, I definitely wasn't expecting him to be number 2, especially when you see Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen being in that category. But once again,
news to me.
Yeah. Once again, like I said on the previous show, Josh Allen is just coming into himself. Lamar Jackson kind of brings more of a run pass option. I think he probably, now we was talking about rushing yards, I think he'd probably be number 1. But he, nevertheless, the system, all the systems is different. But I don't.
Lamar does have him in touchdown passes, though. Lamar just
he does.
Yeah.
He does. But to answer that question, is Baker Mayfield a bust, I would say no. And then if you look at his current situation, he's at the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers haven't been the Carolina Panthers since the great year of Cam Newton.
Right.
Let's be honest. And before Cam Newton, I could be wrong, and this is the time for the Carolina Panthers fans to finally say something. But before Cam Newton came there, I don't think y'all had much success before Cam Newton came there.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold up.
Whatever.
Hold on. I mean,
but
many moons ago.
Many moons ago. But nevertheless, I don't think he's a bust. I just think he's unfortunate to be on the Carolina Panthers team, who got rid of their star franchise player and a Christian McCaffrey. They took that away from him. We know that Baker Mayfield had a few successful seasons when they was able to run the ball with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt complimenting him. He doesn't have a running back. He doesn't have many receivers to throw to. He doesn't have an Odell. Doesn't have a Jarvis Landry. I mean, if you don't really pit star players around Baker Mayfield, yes, he's going to play like Baker Mayfield. I mean, he's going to play like what his name says. But if you give him players, if you give him a good run game, that can not win a Super Bowl, but he can at least compete for the playoffs.
Okay,
so that's my. I don't think he's a bust. I wouldn't say he's a bust.
I mean,
but he's not too far from being a bust. But
see. I don't know. See, you did your homework. So kudos, you did your homework on Baker Mayfield. I went a little deeper. So Cleveland, as we all know, is the factory of sadness, right? More often than not, they have high picks in the first round. Baker Mayfield was their last high pick, matter of fact, number 1 overall. So the quick answer, no, he's not a bust. He just was not in the perfect situation. Let's consider the following.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's consider the following. I'm pretty much saying what you said, but I'm gonna take it a little deeper. His head coach was not Kevin Stefanski when he was drafted.
It was Hugh Jackson, right?
It was Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson. So let that be said right there. Going back to the modern, now Cleveland been around for eons, but modern Cleveland Brown history that's relevant to today starts back in 1999 when they came back in the league. I have a list of draft picks. Now Cleveland has well over, I think the number was like 64 starting quarterbacks since 1999.
Yeah, that says a lot.
So with the first overall pick in 1999, they drafted Tim Couch. Nobody remembers Tim Couch. The year 2000, the first overall pick, they drafted Courtney Brown. Nobody knows who Courtney Brown is. In 2017, the first overall pick was Myles Garrett. Now, there's a name we can talk about, Myles Garrett. In 2018, their last first overall pick was one Baker Mayfield. I don't think Cleveland went all in with Baker. But his struggles didn't start in Cleveland. Remember, let's go back to college, Baker Mayfield. He could not start at Texas Tech because of one man, Patrick Mahomes. So he transfers to Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma, he had an all-star cast of talent. On his offensive line, he had Orlando Brown Jr. His starting tight end was doggone Mark Andrews. One of his receivers was Hollywood Brown. So he had the talent around him. He passed his way all the way to a Heisman and was in contention for another before he came out of college. Mm-hmm. He goes to Cleveland. And whoa, Cleveland has not been kind to their quarterbacks. Let's go.
They have not.
They have not been kind. We can go back as far as Jeff Garcia. We can go back as far as doggone. Didn't Blaine Gabbert play for them? No. We can Brian Hoyer, Jeff Garcia, Tim Couch, Derek Anderson, Johnny Football. We can go back. That's a bust. But we can go back as far as
the bust.
Cleveland never went all in for their quarterback. The best thing they ever did for their quarterback was back in 2007 with the 3rd overall pick. They got Joe Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I forgot all about Brady Quinn. You know, he led that thrill up in Detroit some years back.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go back to Baker Mayfield. So they gave him a Jarvis Landry. They gave him an Odell Beckham Jr. They had to trade for Odell. Mind you, Odell stayed hurt.
Yes, he did.
In his tenure in New York. Numerous knee ailments. His knee was worn numerous times.
Knee still worn.
Knee still worn. But for some reason, he's still a hot commodity. I mean, hey, that speaks to what he is on the field. Whenever he's on the field.
I mean, Odell has everything that you need for a receiver. He has the speed. He has the hands. He's physical. I mean, he's a great receiver, but stay upright.
It's like he's honestly for real. He got to stay up. He can't get down. He might need to go get one of them honey packs. But anyway,
no, the knees worn.
The knees worn just all the time. And then Jarvis Landry, he was the odd man out in Miami, if you go back and think about it. Because who did they get to essentially replace Jarvis Landry? Devontae Parker. Then they traded, and they made that trade from Miami to Cleveland, and that's how you got the Jarvis Landry and the Odell Beckham Jr. on their team. In my opinion, they could have done better for Baker. A whole lot better. Baker Mayfield is responsible for the Cleveland Browns reaching the playoffs and winning a playoff game in this decade.
Yes.
Let's just be real. Let's call it a buck. Cleveland came back to being something to talk about other than LeBron James and the Cavaliers because of Baker Mayfield. Now, Baker Mayfield is not a bust. I would never call him a bust. In fact, I like him better than Manziel. Now, Manziel had all the chances in the world.
Yeah, he did.
But see, he had that bottle.
Yeah, he had that bottle. Forget about it.
He had that booger sugar, if you will, and he just couldn't put it together when it came down to being an NFL He was an outstanding college athlete, but he couldn't put it together in the NFL because the NFL is a different animal. We all know that. But getting back to Baker, I couldn't call him a bust at all. I would just say that Cleveland did not go all in for Baker. Cleveland didn't support him.
They didn't build offense. They didn't build a offensive line that could stand for a certain amount of years for him.
Yep.
As far as putting a good running back behind him, they did an awesome job doing that. And Cleveland is still a very much successful run team. But like you said, to actually build around that quarterback that you drafted in the first round, I don't think they did their due diligence. And now with him being in Carolina, Carolina.
And he just made my point. He went from one bad situation to a worse situation.
I mean, it got worse for him. So I don't know what they expect out of Baker. I mean, I feel like Baker was actually somewhat of an upgrade from Sam Darnold, who...
Oh, yes.
I mean, But, yeah, I mean, like you said, the situation from from bad to worse.
Pretty much. He out of the frying pan into the fire.
Unfortunately, and like I said, statistically, he's in the race.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see. I mean, like Josh Rosen and Mason Rudolph. I mean, there's no need for me to even mention those guys.
Yeah.
For one, I haven't even heard. I don't even know what Josh Rosen is.
I don't think he's in the league no more. But since you gave some stats, let me go. I had to go back in my notes a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about Baker's time with Cleveland. So maybe that'll put some things in perspective. As a Cleveland Brown, from 2018 to 2021, his passer rating is 87.8. So 88 passer rating with 14,125 yards, 92 touchdowns, and 56 picks in 60 games for the Cleveland Browns. That's not good, nor is it bad.
It's bad. It's average.
It's average. Let's talk about Odell. He was a Cleveland Brown. Odell Beckham Jr. had 114 catches for 1,586 yards and scored 8 touchdowns in 29 games for the Cleveland Browns. That's not going all in.
That's one season worth.
That's one season's worth. That's a down year for somebody like Antonio Brown. Like, and let's talk about. They gave him Jarvis Landry. Okay, Jarvis Landry has 288 catches for 3,560 yards and scored 19 touchdowns in 59 games for the Browns. And guess what? Jarvis Landry got there the same year he did.
Mm-hmm.
Odell got there the following year in 2019. So, in my opinion, now Odell's numbers are skewed because he was there one last year, and plus, I don't think he played a full season. He didn't play a full season his last 2 years. Jarvis Landry didn't play a full season his last 2 years in Cleveland, with 15 and 12 games respectively in 2020 and 2021. Of course, Odell played 7 games in 2020 and 6 in 2021. So that does not bode well, not for Baker, but for the Browns in general. Now we went down to the picks. Let's talk about the success. Since 1999, the Cleveland Browns went to the playoffs twice. I don't think y'all heard me. I said since 1999, the Cleveland Browns went to the playoffs twice. And there's a 0-16 season in between those 2 playoff appearances.
You're right.
Let me read off the record. 1999, 2-14, 2000, 3-13, 2001, 7-9. Uptick. 2002, 9-7. They lost in the divisional round, I think, to your Steelers. 03, 5-11. 04, 4-12. 05, 6-10. 4-12 the next year. 2007, they went 10-6 and missed the playoffs by that much. Mm-hmm. That's because they play in the AFC North. 2008, 4-12. 9, 5-11. 5-11 again in 10. 11, 4-12. 12, 5-11. 13, 4-12. 14, 7-9. 15, 13-3. 1-15 the next year. 0-16 in 2017.
I remember that one.
Yeah, because they had a plethora of quarterbacks, including RG3.
I remember. The reason why I remember that is because I remember them having the clock of how many days it's been. Yeah,
since they won a game.
It was so bad.
It was tough for the boys, man. Okay, 2018, 7-8-1. That's Baker's first year. 2019, 6-10. There was a lot of injury on that team. 2020, the COVID year, 11-5.
It took the economy to go down in order for them to come up.
It took the entire world to shut down for a whole summer, and I honestly enjoyed that summer.
You did? Oof, I didn't.
I had a ball, but that's neither here nor there. 2020, they went 11-5, came close to winning the AFC North. Had a playoff game and won that playoff game. They lost the divisional round to the Chiefs. They could have won that game. 2021, 8-9. So from 1999 to 2021, Cleveland as an organization had 3 winning seasons. But then they get happy because Deshaun Watson wanted out of Houston. And so they mortgaged their future and paid him a handsome pocket full of money.
I'm gonna pay the lawsuits off first.
And yeah, he got stuff got to clean up.
Yeah.
And then they trade Baker Mayfield as if he's the problem. Did he make did some questionable things on that football field? You betcha. Hey, Chisel Adonis, shout out to that brother. Called him Baker pastry chef or something like that, because he always cooking turnovers. But
good guy.
I mean, really, what I did, I should have added his record from 2018 to 2021. But if I'm looking at it and just guesstimating, that puts him roughly 500, which is great for Cleveland. Honestly, going back over there almost 20 some odd year history since coming back into the league in 1999. The problem ain't Baker. And guess what? And then it's my prediction Deshaun Watson is going to get the same type of results. Because at least Baker had a Jarvis Landry. At least Baker had an Odell Beckham Jr. Last time I checked, some of those receivers on Cleveland ain't those guys. And I'm not speaking highly of them because their numbers are marginal at best in the time they were in Cleveland. But at least Baker won a playoff game with those dudes.
Yeah, he did.
So now it's going to be, Deshaun, I guarantee you in the next year or maybe about 2-3 years, is Deshaun Watson a bust? It'll shock me if they make it to an AFC championship. I will gladly sell all my worldly possessions if they make it to an AFC championship. But based off their history, Cleveland loves mediocrity. The baseball team did good. I think they won the World Series a few years ago. They got some good. The Cavaliers had a great run with LeBron James, but the Browns.
Toilet bowl.
I'm trying to tell you, I take the Browns to the Super Bowl every morning at 5:45 a.m. So, in the spirit of the podcast, we're going to say Cleveland did Baker dirty. Baker Mayfield is not a bust. Do you agree? Oh man,
I concur.
Yes, sir. I mean, you know, he didn't get a fair shake. Most quarterbacks get at least 5 to 7 years to mess up.
I mean, he only been in the league for 5 years, so
that's what I'm saying. And then you go to Carolina, who's in flux right now. Even though when he filled in for, the story of PJ Walker ended Sunday afternoon in Cincinnati. But even though he was probably playing against backups at that point, when he came in, he looked good. But I think they scored like 21 points in the second half with Baker Mayfield. And I'm sitting at B-dubs. I'm saying, man, he should have started the game.
Yeah.
Neither here nor there. I kind of feel sorry for him, honestly.
Me too. That's why when I seen the question, I was like, I don't think so.
Nah.
I don't think you can classify him as a bust.
Right, and then even when you go look up the numbers and do your research,
you know what quarterback just popped in my mind?
Don't tell me. It ain't that Broncos Nation Let's Ride dude is
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's who. Is Matt Ryan a bust?
No. He cannot qualify as a bust. He can qualify as a disappointment.
Okay. I'll take that. I'll take the disappointment.
Honestly.
But I'm just saying, okay, he had Julio Jones. He's had Michael Turner, Tony Gonzalez, Rodney White.
I know where you get that.
I mean, he's had.
He had the world in Atlanta.
Fame. Not. He's had Hall of Fame players in Atlanta.
Now, I'm gonna give you an excuse for Roddy White. When he got Roddy White was on the tail end of his career. He was still putting up numbers, but he was on the tail end.
Julio still balling.
He was still balling. Julio is like it was Julio Jones and Calvin Johnson. It's like you couldn't pick just one at that time period, right? Okay, I'm glad you said that, and we can include that in the show. Let's talk about Matt Ryan. 2 quarterbacks of note came out of that draft: Joe Flacco, Matt Ryan. I'm gonna end it with this, and you can take it away. Matt Ryan has the stats, the MVPs, all of that good stuff. Joe got the ring.
Okay. Now,
and Joe didn't have near what Matt Ryan had.
Did not. One thing Joe did have was that defense. Now, if you take because if you weigh the scale on Joe and Matt, weigh the scale a little bit. Joe was the golden child, the lucky child, to have such a solid defense.
No, he was not the golden child. Joe is, come on.
To have a chance to play,
Baltimore was 5-11 with that defense that you talking about the year before Joe was drafted.
Have all the sugar and the honey in it.
Okay. It had a little something in there.
Okay.
It was some tomfoolery going on in Baltimore.
Honestly, I feel like Joe Flacco and Matt Ryan could be comparable.
Yes, but the thing is, statistically, Matt Ryan overlaps Joe statistically.
That don't even matter. I know that because Joe Flacco
got that.
Flacco, yeah, Joe. Hey, he got that. You darn right he do. I feel like Joe. That's not even include the defense. Joe didn't have to do much. He did
all
what
right.
he had to do.
Okay, let's compare it. We ain't gonna talk about defense. We're gonna take defense out the equation because
I feel like one ring. Joe got one ring, right?
He got one, but look who he had to go through to get that ring.
And that's what I'm telling you. So
Matt didn't have to go through all that.
If you gave Joe Flacco that Ryan had for several years, not just here and there.
I think.
Please.
Okay,
I think Joe might have had about 2 or 3. Joe might have about two or three.
From 2008 to 2012, we're gonna talk about that little stretch right there, because that was the peak of the Ravens and Joe Flacco. Okay, granted, he did ride that defense his rookie year.
He did,
because I think around that time, it'll flip flop. Steelers number 1, Ravens number 2, Ravens number 1, Steelers number 2. It always flip flop.
Not this year, but it's okay.
We ain't gonna talk about that right now.
No,
this ain't life. This ain't life.
Close that cabinet.
Turn off the lights.
Like they said, like Claude said, we really are going to the upper room. We gonna die here.
The upper room where Jesus. I'm sorry. Okay, so with Joe, he did ride that defense, but between 2011 and 2012, it was a shift, right? 2011 defense, I think defense finished top 5. 2012 defense finished 17th.
Mm-hmm.
With Ray Lewis going out the door, Ed Reed going out the door, Terrell Suggs, he was defensive player of the year in 2011. He came back down to earth. He was still effective, but he kind of started coming back down to earth. And we always had thumpers. But Joe, in that playoff run, beat the Colts with a rookie Andrew Luck, beat the Broncos with Peyton Manning, beat Tom Brady and the Patriots. 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in that playoff run. So I can't say he rode the defense.
No, not every time he did.
Defense gave up a lot of points in that playoff run. Gave up 35 to the Broncos. I think we gave up only 13 to the Patriots, but we gave up between 28 and 32 to the 49ers in that Super Bowl. But Joe did it with his arm.
Yes, he did.
He did it with an Anquan Bolden, a Dennis Pitta, Jacoby Jones, the names.
Nowhere near the talent.
Near the talent. That's why I say Matt Ryan is a disappointment. Statistically, he got Joe.
Yeah.
By a country mile, he got Joe.
Yeah.
But hardware, but that ring speaks volumes, especially if you had the run that Joe had.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
and in the division that he was in as well.
Not even the division, the conference as a whole. You had Manning and Brady and Roethlisberger and Rivers, all of them in the same conference. I put Rivers in there. He's an underachiever, yes, but the guy can ball. He could ball back in the day. The biggest thing that Matt Ryan had to worry about in the NFC at that particular time, was an Eli Manning, an Aaron Rodgers,
hey,
Colin Kaepernick, which head-to-head, he beat him in the championship game. No, Kaepernick beat him in the championship game that year to go to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Ryan has been a disappointment.
Yeah, he's a disappointment, and I feel like he's even more of a disappointment because of those statistics and awards that he holds with no ring to show for it.
None. He got.
I mean, that's like that. I mean, I think he really might be a bust because like you going to school and making all A's and don't get your degree. It's like
good night, almighty. Good God Almighty.
He has been MVP. He's had success. He's been to a Super Bowl. I don't know how they. Never mind. Anyways, he's been to a Super Bowl. He's had Hall of Fame players. He's played upright for most of his career. I don't think he's had many injuries. I mean, he's had a good run for NFL quarterback.
Matt Ryan, Joe Flacco, switch them. Matt Ryan would not have had. Matt Ryan would have won one. He would have won one ring. I would give him that just off the strength of that defense. No, I'm gonna tell you where he would have won it. He would have won it in 2011. Why? Because Joe came this close for going to Super Bowl back to back. It took a Lee Evans drop and a Billy Cundiff kick to go wide left for Joe to go home in the AFC. Because if you can remember, Joe was always in the AFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm. I don't think, and like you said,
he would have got one.
I don't even think he would have got one. I don't.
Think about the defense now. You said the defense. If it go for Joe, it got to go for Matt.
But you also reminded me of how the defense gave up points. What happened?
But see, statistically, the Ravens defense was like either number 1 or number 2 in 2011. Now, it was it was a 4-game stretch that Ray Lewis was out. The Ravens went 4-0 in that stretch.
That's not because of.
That's why I give Matt one.
But just because of the type of player that he is, I mean, yes, he's had the award. Yes, he's had the Hall of Fame player. That's expected.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, let's be honest. If you want to give that to Matt Ryan, Matt Ryan's has had, like you said, Hall of Fame players. We done named them already.
Yeah.
Joe Flacco played with less and still got more than Matt Ryan. But that's not because of the defense, because you just reminded me of how the defense gave up points. So when you go back to that Super Bowl that they blew, defense gave up over 20 points in the second half.
It was 28-3. It was 28-3.
Matt Ryan couldn't come back from that. So can I really vouch that he could maintain? I mean, it's been times that Joe Flacco dotted up down the field.
So here's my question. You're taking, if you can remember back that far, it's been a while. The 2011 Baltimore Ravens went 12-4. Right? Let me find the statistics for the defense. I want to say that defense was numero uno in just about every statistical category.
Baltimore.
Yeah. I want to say, don't get me wrong, don't quote me on it. You had a decent, I ain't gonna say decent, you had a very good running back in Ray Rice, who was shifty and could catch out the backfield. That set up the offense. You had a Torrey Smith who could take the top off the defense. On the other side of the football, you have a Haloti Ngata, you have a Ray Lewis, you have an Ed Reed, you have a Terrell Suggs on the edge. Need I say more? He would have won a ring in 2011 against the New York Giants. Because had the regular Ravens would have went there, honestly, and my Giants fans, the people I know that's Giants fans, debate me on this, I'm like, no, we'd won that. Outright.
Outside of that outstanding defense, I mean,
do you think that defense would have gave up a 28-3 point lead at that time? No. You spoke it. I'm trying to tell you, preaching now, but you're preaching.
But I feel like Joe Flacco, as far as on field, I mean, he doesn't do spectacular things, but I feel like he manages the game. He managed the game well enough then to be able to win. But like you said, I do concur with you with Ryan had that defense. Well, I ain't gonna say if anybody, but majority of the quarterbacks that was back then probably could have won a Super Bowl. With
the AFC was just ridiculous back in those days. Like the AFC was tough.
He would have won, but like you said, Matt Ryan he's a disappointment.
Just like Russell Wilson is a disappointment to me.
No,
he's a disappointment.
The thing about Russell Wilson, I think he came in as he's another Heisman. He came in
Did he?
all pro. What he had some type of awards in college.
But he ain't win no he ain't win no Heisman.
Now he ain't win no Heisman, but he was all pro. He won forget about his awards.
I got you. But keep on talking.
But anyway, I feel like now it might have been NFL. I'm not for sure. I think he came out of college nice though.
He came out not as touted because he was ninth in Heisman voting in 2011. You don't even go to the ceremony if you ninth in voting. And he was
so he was a Heisman vote. Okay.
Right.
He was on the ballot.
He was drafted in the third round. The 75th pick of the 2012 draft by the Seahawks.
Okay. Well, now, I feel like
by that time the Seahawks was building the Legion of Boom.
And that's what I'm getting to.
That started in 2010, 2011. And around that time, they started building the Legion of Boom. I used to use them on Madden 12, and I will put the Legion of Boom together, and couldn't nobody score. But to me, Russell Wilson is a game manager. To me, it's like, don't turn the ball over, don't lose. Let's go.
I feel like
let's go back to that Super Bowl they had, the Seattle Seahawks, Denver Broncos. Ain't no way. Denver Broncos had a record-setting offense. Peyton Manning had the best season of his career with Denver. He could only score 8 points against that defense in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
What was Russell Wilson's stat line from that game? Oh, I got his college stats. Okay. In 08 to 10, he was at NC State. He didn't do so hot.
He didn't have no awards at NC State.
Then he went to Wisconsin in 2011. In Wisconsin, let me see, that was not even his last year at NC State was his best year in college with over 3,500 yards and 28 touchdowns, 14 picks. Now, yard-wise in Wisconsin, he didn't do so hot. But the touchdown to interception ratio was ridiculous. 33 touchdowns to 4 picks. That was his final year of college. And, of course, he got drafted to the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like with Wilson, I think that the media, the NFL, put Wilson on a pedestal early.
Preach.
I feel like before... all about Marshawn Lynch and that Legion of Boom defense.
Spitting facts.
And since Marshawn Lynch and the Legion of Boom has been gone, Wilson has not had much to say in Seattle, nor the Broncos.
Exactly.
But I don't think he's a bust, or I don't think he's a disappointment. I feel like he has I feel like he can throw the ball well. He's a great runner. I mean, he brings a lot to a team that already has a good, solid foundation. If you put him in you look at the Denver Broncos, young players, lots of young players. They brought that guy. I believe Broncos brought him there because of his past experience with Seattle.
Oh yeah.
Now, you know, and like I said, the NFL put this guy on the pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
Denver Broncos doesn't have that offensive line and Marshawn Lynch behind. If he don't have at least a good defense, and I feel like, you know, this old saying was defense win championship.
That defense surely did, and could have won back-to-back if it wasn't for Russell Wilson.
Well, no, I blame that call on Pete Carroll.
I blame but you blame the call on the coach. I blame the execution on Russell Wilson. You are.
I think it's, you know, like I said, we mentioned it.
Got my hands itchy.
In a NFL, you know, got some stuff with it every once in a while.
Yeah, that was a bull jive.
Then I mean, not to mention, you know, Tom Brady was in that Super Bowl.
They did not want Marshawn Lynch to win the Super Bowl MVP because he would have said nothing.
Nothing. I'm only here to be here, so I won't get fined.
Exactly.
So,
But check this out. How many times in his career has he been over 65% completion? He did it. The first time he ever did it was 2015. The second time he did it was 2018. He came in 2012.
Okay. And how many years has he had over 65% completion rate?
Mm-hmm.
4.
Exactly 4 years. How many MVP votes has Russell Wilson ever had?
Ever? Probably none.
0.
Yeah, I can guess that one.
The thing is, his numbers, his career, he has a career 64.7 completion percentage with 38,753 yards, 298 touchdowns, and 91 picks. His career passer rating is 100.9. Now, the years 2012, 2013, 2014, between 2012 and 2016, that was like the height of the Legion of Boom. 2012 passer rating 100.0. Next year 101.2. Next year 95.0. Next year 110.1. And the last year with the Legion of Boom at its height, because it started falling when Cam Chancellor retired, 92.6. Yeah. The problem with Russell Wilson is Russell Wilson. Because right now he's toting a 58.8 completion percentage with 1,694 yards, 6-4 touchdowns to interception ratio.
And all this, and all that being said, and then he got married to Sierra, which is a bad girl. And I feel like and I can 1-2 stuff on that. And I feel like anytime we look at Tom Brady, just coming out, but anytime you got a wife like that at home, you can't think right on that field because you're thinking about that shaboink boink in the bedroom.
First of all, this dude said shaboink boink. Boy, I miss that doggone bat porch, boy. I could have let you have it right then, boy. But I'm trying to keep it nice, trying to keep it G-rated. But if I was in Russell Wilson's position,
I mean, I'm just saying. Hey,
man. Yeah, that's all you gotta do.
You gotta better down.
All the way, you better put it there, boy. You better lay it like a doggone railroad spike, boy. You better go in there, hut 2, 3, 4, dog. But I'm trying to tell you, what I hear talking this stuff. Now, 2020, honestly, to me, it was Russell Wilson's best year.
2020.
2020. Is that 2020?
Why everybody talking about that pandemic?
Now, he threw for 4,200, a little bit over 4,200 yards. Matter of fact, 42-12 to be exact. But he had 40 touchdowns and 13 picks. That's the only outlier. I mean, his average with touchdowns was like 30. Like he had 26, 26, 20, 34, 21, 34, 35, 31, 40, 25, and now 6. If you take away the Legion of Boom, give him an average defense in those years, does Russell Wilson have a ring? Not coming out that doggone division at the time, because you still had to go through the 49ers. And the 49ers were good for a while. The 49ers with Jim Harbaugh, they were good for a minute. Especially with that 52 they had on that side of the field, that doggone Patrick Willis.
Ooh.
I've seen Patrick Willis do some amazing things, but I mean, to me, all right, if we can recap everything we talked about, let's go back to Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, I'm not gonna call him a bust, nor am I gonna call him a disappointment because, relatively speaking, we only had a small sample size. To be real,
Really.
Russell Wilson. No, I'm skipping the Joe Flacco Matt Ryan debate. In my opinion, I can't call him a bust either because you can't have an MVP to your name. I think more than one. You can't throw for 5,000 yards some years to your name and be called a bust. Matt Ryan is a disappointment because he could have been greater than what he was.
So maybe him and Aaron Rodgers will be good together.
That is comparable. But see, Aaron Rodgers, he is like the GOAT when it comes down to not turning the ball over. Before this year. Nah. I think he thrown the most interceptions he ever thrown in his life this year. But with Rodgers, Rodgers got a ring to his name though.
Oh, that was on the bucket cheese. That was on the cheese. That was on the cheese, man.
No, buddy.
No.
Buddy.
No.
Boss man.
I still plead the fifth on that because doggone Pittsburgh had doggone ball last. Big Ben, it was less than 2:50 on the clock.
Boss man.
Doggone Big Ben do what he do best and threw the ball through interception. We had the ball last. We gave it to him, Pete. That was a Christmas gift for Santa Claus. You know
y'all wasn't ready for the Packers.
No, the Packers
offensively.
That's what happened.
What that was like 2010?
Yeah, 2010, yeah. No. Yeah, 2010, yeah.
Offensively, those Packers from back then, they were tough. Yeah, the only people that can really beat them, yeah, y'all went to sleep in that last part of that game. I ain't even gonna lie, I remember the game. Those Packers, I mean, honestly,
that's what it was.
But honestly, you got to think about it though. That Packers team was stacked. To be real,
I mean, yeah, it was good.
You had to pick your boys.
But see, he got that ring by luck, though.
No, he got that ring because he took it from you.
No,
he took it from you.
Ring. His defense took it from you.
Think about it. The strength of your Pittsburgh Steelers, honestly, and I ain't dookie on them because I respect greatness, but the strength of those Pittsburgh Steelers teams was not the DBs. It was that front seven.
To this day.
To this day.
But nah, I'm just messing. But yeah, he got a wing, but it won't.
Okay, take away the ring.
Take
away the ring. Take away the ring.
That Super Bowl, boy.
Boy, I know you hot about that thing, boy. That was y'all last chance. If you looking back now from that time to now, that was y'all last chance to do it. Y'all had about 2 more tries.
I was about to say at least 3 altogether, including that one.
Including 2020, y'all peaked out. Y'all peaked out in 2020.
We had on 2010. Then doggone, what was it? 2017?
Mm-hmm.
And then doggone 2020, what was it? We went 11-0.
2020, 11-0, and just stopped playing.
And then just went to bed. Just took a melatonin and got that and took you to sleep. Thought it was a 5-hour energy drink with melatonin, and we went to sleep.
Went straight to bed. How in the name of peace? 3. Now,
I feel like it possibly could have been more with the players that we had.
Let me tell you why that Super Bowl was dead to rights for Pittsburgh. First of all, the Packers were a 3-point favorite in that game. The Packers were a 3-point favorite.
What was the final score of that game again?
The final score was 25-31 Packers.
Deadly got down.
Nah, buddy. See, I can't bull jive the Packers.
I tell you what. They ain't been back in 12 years, and we ain't.
Look at it. Well, at least they sniffed it. But the 49ers had something to say about that. The 49ers. There's something wrong with you. Okay, so all right, let's compare and contrast. Packers went 10-6, right? They went 10-6 that year.
Oh, you talking about 2010?
I'm gonna get. Oh, dang.
What are you talking about?
The 2010 year. All right, so they went 10-6. Y'all went 12-4. But the Packers were still favored by 3. Like I said, the strength of the Pittsburgh Steelers from that time period was not their corners at all.
Hold on now. Don't duke you on Ike Taylor and
no. Hold up.
Don't do that.
Outside of Ike Taylor, name me 2 Pittsburgh Steelers corners.
Hold on. We had Donald Ike.
No, wait a minute. Without naming Ike Taylor.
We had Ike and Ike. I didn't know who we had. No, hold on. I'm trying to think. William Gay was all right. What? I don't know what William Gay was there. William Gay was there? No, I don't think William Gay. No, we had Ike Taylor. And we had Troy. What do you mean? And the front seven. Now you want to talk
Troy,
about the front seven.
Much respect to Troy P. But I know that Troy Polamalu was a glorified middle linebacker. Tell me I'm wrong.
That's because of the position that he played. He played free safety.
He played strong safety, my boy. Strong safety.
He played. Oh, he played strong. I thought he played free safety.
Reed was a free. That's why I hate when they compare Polamalu to Reed. Reed was free safety. Polamalu was strong safety.
I thought it went the opposite way.
Mm-mm. I mean, Reed came in the league as a strong safety. But he shined at he could play both of them, but primarily he was a free safety.
I'm gonna look at that. I could have sworn
Reed
played free.
No, sir. Strong safety, Troy Polamalu.
That's a bunch of bull.
Here's your Pro Bowlers from that team, and then we can cut it right there. Here your Pro Bowlers from that year: James Harrison, Brett Kiesel, Troy Polamalu, and Marquise Pouncey.
And name the Pro Bowlers from Packers team.
Well, okay. You sure you want some of that right there? You sure you want that Pro Bowlers from the Green Bay Packers? Greg Jennings, left tackle Chad Clifton, Clay Matthews, Charles Woodson, Tremont Williams, Nick Collins. First team All Pros, Clay Matthews.
Like we do.
See, I was about to. I'm just at this point. I'm just trolling now. I'm just trolling.
Aaron Rodgers, I feel like is close.
Damn, y'all didn't. Okay, y'all had some All Pros. Usual suspects.
He's this close from being a disappointment.
If Rodgers had not won that ring, he would have been another Matt Ryan, in my opinion.
Pretty much. I mean,
honestly, and I respect Rodgers to the fullest, but people say that everybody say Super Bowl is getting the Super Bowl ring is a team effort, but if you don't have the right quarterback under center, you're not getting to a Super Bowl. Period. Point blank. Period. Rodgers won the ring, just like Nick Foles won the ring.
I was about to say, because I'm glad you said that.
I can give you one even better.
I was thinking about quarterbacks that has won Super Bowl. Is a complete just game manager, no reward. I'm glad you shot yourself in the foot like that. I'm glad you did, because I was just thinking. I was like, hold on. I was like, I knew I couldn't go for the last 2 years because I was the Chiefs and the Bronx and the Buccaneers. I said, oh boy.
Nick Foles got you a ring, Philly. Daggone Trent Dilfer got us a ring. So I understand that was a game manager.
I mean, come on now. And once again, Nick Foles won off a strip sack. So,
but Nick Foles, hold up now. Hold on. Nick Foles put up some decent numbers.
He did that 1 year. Every dog has his day.
Hey, when that dog had that day, the dog can bow wow and be happy.
Well, I hope they can't come scratch him up then.
Boy, don't sound like that. Don't do that. Don't say that.
Aaron Rodgers is a disappointment. He's disappointed. Disappointment. Matt Ryan's a disappointment. Who else?
Well, if you're going to say, all right, if you're going to put apples to oranges, okay?
You can't go because
I'm going to say
one could be sweet.
But you got some, them little Clementine oranges are sweet. I was trying to hold it in.
Go ahead.
We done ran overtime. I don't even care.
Yeah, we did, man.
But if you're gonna do apples to oranges, think about Dan Marino though. He did all that. Hall of Famer, never won a Super Bowl. That'll be the closest comparison I could go for Matt Ryan, honestly.
Matt Ryan. I mean, would you say he's a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Statistically, yes.
That doesn't hold any weight.
Yes, it. What stats get you in the Hall of Fame?
Yes, but have they talked about Matt Ryan being in the Hall of Fame? I mean, when have you heard? I mean, some players
are still in the league. The dude is still in the league.
It was players that was still in the doggone league that were saying walking Hall of Famers.
This dude got almost 6,000 completions to his name.
Matt Ryan, I bet you a peanut butter jelly sandwich. Peanut butter jelly sandwich. Matt Ryan ain't going to the Hall of Fame.
And I will raise your peanut butter jelly sandwich and bet you a bag, the $2 bag of hot fries, that not only does he make it in, he make it in the first ballot. Just by stats alone. Stats is going to get, I'm telling you, his statistics is going to get him in.
Yeah.
If Brett Favre
can
throw almost 300 interceptions and get in,
I don't know about that though, man. I don't know. Hey, I tell you what people should be asking you the best.
What's up?
Tony Romo.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me see. I don't follow Tony Romo like that.
We're gonna have to pontificate.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pontificate.
I feel like Tony Romo is a better analyst than he was the quarterback.
Good God, but his statistics say he ain't getting in. His stats say he going to be the Hall of Very Good. Now, let me give you some of his highlights. He's a second-team All-Pro in 2014, 4 times Pro Bowler. He had the passer rating leader in 2014. 2014 was a great year for Romo. He only had one great year. The completion percentage leader in 2014. The Walter Payton Award, and we don't count that. Let me see. Player of the year. Okay, that's college stuff. Pass attempts, 4,335. Completions, 2,829. Completion percentage, 65.3. Touchdown to interception ratio, 248 to 117. Career passing yards, 34,183. He is not getting in the Hall of Fame.
You know what people say? You know what I heard somebody say? Tony Romo was better than Big Ben. I've heard it. I heard people say that Tony Romo was better than Big Ben, and I believe, and we can come back this. Matter of fact, let's do that next week.
No, we're gonna do that now.
No, because I believe statistically. Listen, I didn't say it.
Who said that?
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
Who said it?
I can't even recall who told me that. Who was debating me with that? I believe it was doggone. Might have been Larry and them boys.
I can't wait the next week. Okay. I can't wait next week. That's some bull jive. And I'm not even a Pittsburgh fan, but that is some bull jive.
Somebody told me Tony Romo was better than Big Ben.
How?
I could be wrong. I could be right.
Dog.
But, hey.
Bro.
Look, talking to the game guy, I didn't say it.
I know you didn't say that bull jive. I don't like nothing.
Romo was better than Big Ben.
I don't even wear the colors black and yellow together. And I have both colors, okay? Ain't no way in the world whoever said that was sober at the time. I'm just saying.
I don't know. That's what I heard.
Okay, I can't.
Romo and Big Ben.
Come back next week for a part 2 to this debate. Is Tony Romo better than Ben Roethlisberger? I'm very conflicted in this moment right now because of I like neither.
Neither.
But as Stephen A will say, that's blasphemous, man. I'm sorry. That's blasphemous. You can't. No. Tony Romo. We'll come back next week. So thank y'all for watching. We kind of went off the cuff from this one. Now we had a little fun with this one here, but
yeah, we did.
And we if y'all don't find this so interesting, I don't care. We're gonna do it anyway. It's gonna be up there anyway. So thank y'all for subscribing. If you're not subscribed and you're looking at this show and wondering how these two people got together and came up with this concept here, especially that last point that just came out about Tony Romo and Ben, subscribe so y'all can be on point when that show drops, because I think we might record that show before next week, because that's just some bull jump. That is just some bull jump, if you will. I don't know.
I did that. I just call it that. Thought I was to say that.
Every time I'm sitting here trying to sign off, and I'm looking at Roethlisberger's stats right here, and I'm like, bruh, no. But let me come back to myself. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Bad Boy Sports Podcast. Please subscribe. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon, please leave us a rating. Tell us how we're doing. Tell us, if you like the show, if you don't like the show, things of that nature. Because these next few weeks is gonna get ugly, especially with some bull jive like that. So you got anything you want to add, man? Because
nothing.
All right, y'all. So y'all take care. Have a safe week, and
be that most definitely.
Yes, and wash your hands. This has been Bad Boy Sports Podcast with your man Fon.
Aquan.
And we out, y'all. Peace, man.
Deuces.